My wife loves a good Hallmark movie. So you can imagine that I have seen a few of them in my lifetime. In fact, she and some of the ladies back in Minnesota even have a Christmas party where they just watch Hallmark movies. Luckily, I didn't have to go to that party. But if I'm honest, these movies somehow get us sucked in. Now, you know the plot of a Hallmark movie. Miss Sweet, now and single, leaves lost behind and moves back home where it's always snowing and looks like a snow globe. Where working hard to make a new life, she meets Mr. Everything you could ever want, who's usually splitting wood and to show how ripped he is, and then he pledges true love and becomes her happily ever after. So what is it about these movies that keep us coming back? Is it the rescue? The perfect man? Or maybe it's just true love? These are the elements of the story of Ruth, the third unlikely mother named in Jesus' family tree. Now, the story of Ruth could be an Old Testament Hallmark movie special. But Ruth's story is so much more than a great romance. Why is Ruth even in the genealogy of Jesus? See, Ruth's story starts in a little village called Bethlehem. Yeah, that Bethlehem. Famine had hit hard, and a man from Bethlehem named Elimelech moved his wife Naomi and their two sons to Moab to find a better chance at life. Now, the Moabites were longtime enemies and oppressors of Israel, and they were cursed by God. They were a pagan nation, descended from an incestuous relationship of Lot and his oldest daughter. They worshiped the deity Chemosh, and they practiced child sacrifice. Now, this isn't the kind of place that you would want to raise a family, and it's definitely not the kind of place that you would see in a Hallmark plot. Yet, here in this place, God chose to weave the story of a young, foreign Moabite girl into the story of Jesus. Elimelech's two sons married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, but in the space of 10 years, Elimelech died, and then both of his sons. One loss would have been crushing, but all three together would have been unbearable. Naomi, Orpah, and Ruth, all childless, all widowed, three shattered hearts left utterly desolate by life. The pain and loss touched every piece of their lives, their hopes, and their dreams. Now, to be widowed or childless in any world is unimaginable anguish. But in the world of Naomi, it meant unmitigated vulnerability and poverty. So Naomi just did the one thing she could do and decided to return to Bethlehem. Now, she had nothing for Orpah or Ruth, so she urged them to go back to their homeland, to their own Moabite families. So Orpah left, but Ruth refused to abandon Naomi. In this sudden declaration, Ruth professes, "Where you go, I go. Where you live, I live. Your people are my people. Your God is my God. Where you die, I'll die. And that's where I'll be buried. So help me God. Not even death itself is going to come between you and me. Your God is my God." In this cursed darkness, Ruth had seen the light of God in the bleakest of circumstances. And Ruth trusted Naomi's God, this love that she had seen. And so Ruth and Naomi returned to Bethlehem just as the barley harvest started. And Ruth, doing what she could, went out to glean barley and providentially happened into the field of Boaz. Now, Boaz is that gracious, generous businessman and relative of Elimelech. In other words, he was a part of Naomi's family. And Boaz, learning this new gleaner was Ruth the Moabitess, he promised protection as she gleaned throughout the harvest. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. But Boaz was more than a distant relative. Boaz was what's known as a kinsman redeemer, the goel. Under Jewish law, the goel was a close relative responsible for rescuing and restoring a childless widow through marriage. And as a sign, the goel would spread his cloak over the woman to show the promise to take her under the wing of protection. So Naomi instructed Ruth, go to the threshing floor, uncover Boaz's feet, and wait for his instruction. So Ruth did, and when Boaz awoke, there was Ruth with this request: spread your cloak over me, since you are goal of our family. Boaz, qualified to redeem, willing to redeem, able to pay the price of redemption, became the goal for a young Moabite widow and her mother-in-law. So Ruth, once an outsider, a resident alien, an immigrant, became not only part of Israel, but became part of the lineage of Christ. Now, in this story, don't be fooled by the charm of Boaz. He is great. But what we should be holding on to in this profound strength and determination and grit of this immigrant woman who is caring for her mother-in-law. See, this is the genealogy of Jesus, the Messiah of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah, Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar, Perez the father of Hezron, Hezron the father of Ram, Ram the father of Abinadab, Abinadab the father of Nahshon, Nahshon the father of Salmon, Salmon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of King David. And here's where we cue the hallmark music. A rescue, a perfect man, a true love. But what at first blush looks like a story of a blissful romance points us to the greatest love story ever. It's the greatest redemption story ever told. Ruth is in each of us, walking out the curse of this world, unable to rescue ourselves and desperate for love. But we have a goal who stepped in to restore us. All along, God has declared himself our goal. In Exodus, he says, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves, and I will redeem, goal, you with an outstretched arm and mighty acts of judgment. In Isaiah, for your maker is your husband. The Lord Almighty is his name. The Holy One of Israel is your Redeemer, your goal. He's called the God of all the earth. And in Malachi, some of the last words of the Old Testament prophesied that one would rise with healing in his wings as he covers his people. 400 years later, in this little town of Bethlehem, held a new kinsman redeemer in the person of Jesus. Jesus, the only one qualified to redeem us, the only one willing to redeem us, the only one willing to love us no matter the cost. Like Ruth, we were once outsiders, yet God redeems us and brings us into his family. So why is Ruth in the genealogy of Jesus? Why is Ruth a part of the greatest love story ever written? See, that first Noel, God came as our goal to rescue all people and take us as his beloved bride. The challenge for us is, as followers in this way of Jesus, how will we be kinsmen redeemers for the widows and orphans in our land? Christmas and Advent should challenge us. It should awaken in us our call as the people of this baby Jesus, of this goal, of this kinsman redeemer, to seek out to be kinsmen redeemers for our world. Amen.